Good evening. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Cody Holyoke. The felony convictions of Sheldon Silver, one of the state's most powerful politicians, is still top of mind tonight in Albany. Capitol reporter Kimberly Howard shows us the push for change at the Capitol now that the guilty verdicts have come down.
Almost as soon as those guilty verdicts were read, Sheldon Silver's Assembly webpage was taken down and the placard outside of his legislative office in Albany removed. Those changes just the beginning for what good government groups and some lawmakers hope to see. A dreary day in Albany, but for some, the sun is shining. Now that former Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver has been found guilty of fraud, extortion, and money laundering.
I think we really see a new day here in Albany.
Tom Stebbins with the Lawsuit Reform Alliance says New York is the lawsuit capital of the country. And Sheldon Silver, he says, was a contributor.
We found out during the course of this trial that the reason that he was championing these lawsuits and this litigation is because he was getting paid by a trial lawyer or law firm.
That's why Stebbins says there needs to be more transparency on lawmaker disclosure forms. He says it's okay if lawmakers have outside income, but there needs to be a crackdown on no-show jobs.
Sheldon Silver never appeared in court. He never appeared on any court documents. He never served any clients according to the case. We can't have people getting paid to serve no one because they're serving someone, and that's the person that's paying them, not New York.
Meanwhile, Assemblyman Jim Tedisco says convicted felons like Silver should not go on to collect pensions and
term limits for any powerful leaders like Silver, who's there for 20 years, been able to consolidate his power.
But policy analysts at the Empire Center say you can't legislate your way out of what's been described as a culture of corruption in Albany.
You can't pass a law that says there shall be no corruption tomorrow. What you can do is take away the opportunities for people to engage in corrupt behavior.
Things like secret slush funds, similar to the one that helped Sheldon Silver funnel state money out of the public's eye. Both the space outside this office door and the assembly seat Silver has occupied for nearly 40 years will almost certainly stay open when session starts in January. It's on the governor to call a special election, and if he doesn't, it's possible that seat could stay open through November. In Albany, Kimberly Howard, CBS 6 News.
For more on the fallout from Silver's conviction, we want to bring in our political analyst, New York Post political columnist, Fred Dicker. Fred, bring us up to speed. What's the buzz around Albany today? What are you hearing?
Well, this is the only buzz around, Cody. There's no question about it. You could say there's profound shock, although I think a lot of us anticipated Silver would be convicted. Bottom line is there's a lot of talk about so-called reforms, maybe that could prevent this from happening again. I haven't heard when that really would work, but there is no question the upcoming legislative session will be dominated by talk about ethical reforms.
I know Governor Cuomo today had made a comment that justice was done, but he also said that he would not call a special session, which many members of the legislature had been calling for. Do you think that's the right move?
Yeah, because he doesn't have any proposals. Nobody knows how to really address the kinds of things Silver and maybe Dean Skelos have been engaged in. There are no proposals that really would stop that. If you're going to have a dishonest lawmaker or a dishonest governor, no law is going to prevent that if they're willing to break it.
You know, we mentioned this conviction. There's still a high-profile lawmaker in court right now in Manhattan in Dean Skelos. What are you hearing about this and about just the anticipation before a verdict there?
Well, most people on the inside believe that the case against Dean Skelos is stronger than the one that was against Sheldon Silver, so the expectation is for conviction. Then the question is, what does Preet Bharara, the U.S. attorney, do next? A lot of people think he's looking at Governor Cuomo. And it was Governor Cuomo, after all, by killing off the Moreland Commission, really got Preet Bharara involved in investigating Sheldon Silver and Dean Skelos.
All right, Fred. Well, we'll leave it at that for now. Thanks so much. Don't forget, you can hear Fred's radio program live from the state capitol every weekday morning from 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM.